11 Ultimate Soca Champion finalists and 6 of our Youth Soca Champion finalists will randomly draw for their performance order for the big night. Before we begin, let's acknowledge and thank our judges, our sponsors, our media partners, and of course the contestants who have brought nothing but pure talent and energy to this competition. So let's give it up for everyone who has been part of this competition so far. All right, so here is an overview. The semifinals were held at the Naprima Bowl on February 9th and was an electrifying night where our talented contestants left everything on stage, delivering performances that had the judges and audience on their feet. Now the countdown begins to the grand finals, where one Ultimate Soca Champion and one Youth Soca Champion will rise above the rest. The stakes: $200,000 in the youth, $1 million in the ultimate, and of course, bragging rights as the Ultimate Soca Champion. This is more than just a competition, it's a celebration of soca, culture, and raw talent. Before we move on to the draw, here are some key rules and guidelines for the grand finals, all right? So actually, I want to hold on giving the guidelines because I realize that we're missing one of our contestants. So we're going to run through some of the other protocol in the meantime before I give that detail. All right, so let me tell you guys how the draw will take place. Contestants will be called in alphabetical order to draw their performance number. If a contestant is not present, a designated proxy may draw on their behalf. If no contestant or proxy is available, an Ultimate Soca Champion representative will draw for them. No redraws. Once a number is drawn, it is final. Contestants may mutually agree to switch positions, but this must be confirmed in writing before the draw concludes. So what we would do in that scenario is, if you want to switch, we usually give you guys 24 hours to do that. So you have 24 hours if you all want to switch positions with anyone, and that must be sent to us in writing in terms of the switching of positions. It must be mutual consent on both parties if there's to be a switch. Okay, so I'm going to start with some of the rules and guidelines for the final. So I want to start by giving you all an idea of your allocation when it comes to your passes, etc. So you would have a backstage and ticket allocation. So each contestant would receive the following: 20 backstage passes for team members, dancers, and crew, 5 parking passes for contestant and essential team members, and each contestant will be given 100 complimentary tickets to bring your audience. All right? So you're on a level playing field because in this competition, crowd support is a factor. So we want to make sure that we give everyone the same amount of passes, that you could bring your team members to come out and support you. This competition is heavily community-based. That is why we asked you all when you were entering to please select which community that you represent, because we want to bring the communities back out to represent their favorite artists. So if we have one person representing Sawa, we want the whole of Sawa to come out and back this specific artist, right? We want to bring back that camaraderie in the communities. Let's have nice, friendly competition. As well, contestants, if you have a large presentation and you require additional backstage passes, you may purchase up to 10 is your max, additional backstage passes at a cost of $50 each. If you'd like to purchase more crowd tickets, they go at $100 each. We have tickets that are available to the general public, so they could purchase on islandetickets.com, and we would have announced our physical ticket locations. All right, so you have a deadline within which you must submit your request for any additional passes, and that is this coming Monday. You must put in that request. You all know the protocol that we did in the semis. You must identify all of the persons that these passes are going to be allocated to and what are their roles and functions. No additional passes will be issued after the deadline or on event day. Performance and stage management, setup and removal of props. Contestants are allowed 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after their performance for prop and setup removal. Any delays beyond the time limit will result in point deductions. So we will be providing stagehands, but we strongly advise that if you know you have large props, that you provide your own stagehands to help you to get your stuff on and off accordingly. Contestants must ensure that all props are safe, manageable, and do not damage the stage. So now we jump to submission of performance details. All contestants must submit the following details to stage management by Monday. The list and size of your props to be used during your performance. This will be held confidential with our management team, and this is only to make sure that we could make sure that your props fit and that they can go on and off. And if there are special requirements for us to help you to get your props on and off the stage, we need to know that in advance. You can come on the day and say, boy, I want to drive this car on the stage. And we say, well, you didn't tell us that before. The stage can't hold the weight of the car. Right? So we need to know these things in advance because we want a spectacular show next week, Thursday night. And we want to help you guys to put on a spectacular show, but you have to help us in terms of giving us advance notice so we could put the required things in place so that we could have that great show. We must have a list of your dancers and additional stage performers. We must have all of your technical requirements, meaning your special effects, all of your lighting cues, your video playback, all of that must be submitted by Monday. So you have this time to go through. I know some of you already started preparing for your productions, for your their stage presentation. So what we want is that if we have all of the videos in advance, we want to do a technical rehearsal on the Wednesday. So therefore we could test all of these videos, we could test your special effects, we could make sure everything is in place. So once you hit that stage, we don't have any hiccups. Right, no additional persons or props on stage or stage performers will be allowed after the deadline of the event day. So you need to learn to plan your performance. I know sometimes we as artists, you wake up a morning and you say, nah boy, this ain't gonna work, and you want to change something. You can't have drastic changes, especially when it comes to props and the number of people present. It's gonna throw off the entire show. Yes, you're gonna have last minute changes, maybe in your dance routine or something like that, but for us, we need to know of any major changes before, otherwise we would not allow it. Right, you must send a technical representative on the night. So you must send someone to stand next to our tech team to ensure that up next is artist XYZ. This is their lighting cue sheet. This is the special effect sheet that must be run. This is the video that runs. Therefore, we have no discrepancies where, boy, they played the wrong video. They run this when it shouldn't have been run. You must send your representative next to our tech team because mistakes do happen. Everyone is human here. So we want to alleviate those things from happening by putting one representative from you and our representative there to alleviate these things. We must have, that person will be dealing with the lighting effects, sound and music, special effects, video projections, if applicable. Again, I just explained the reason why. Failure to provide a technical representative may result in errors in execution that will not be the responsibility of the event organizers. Ensure that you'll double check that everything is in place. Right, failure to comply with any of our rules and regulations would result in point deductions and could possibly result in disqualification. Points will be deducted for delays, unauthorized personnel, late submissions, or violations of backstage and management policies. Now we go on to the time of your performances. On the night, the youth category, you'll be given 4 minutes to do your performance. You were given 3 in the semis. I see Paris drop down. And in the ultimate, you'll be given 5 minutes for your performance. You all want more time for your... So, okay, we are hearing your cries. So, at the end, we will have a conversation with you guys as to if more time is required for your performance. Y'all need more time? What are they going to put on so? All right. So we'll have that discussion with you guys. And you find 5 minutes tough, Blacker than? You say what? So we will take a poll at the end in terms of the time limits as to what we get. But we're flexible on that and we will make that decision today. All right? Cool. Moving on to your Judging criteria. Your judging criteria will be lyrics and music, 20 points, vocal performance, 10 points, stage performance, 25 points, presentation, 20 points, and crowd response, 25 points. It is the same criteria as the semi-final. We have taken out the voting element. They asked me to say it again. We have taken out the voting element, and you all will see why in a bit, why we decided to remove that. However, there will be a voting element in place for the People's Champion. So we will reveal later on how that will work, because we need to do a lot of crossing of T's and dotting of I's when it comes to voting in this competition. Yeah? I'm sure if you know, you know. Yes, so we will not announce all the details of that yet, because we need to go back and just double check everything before we reveal the voting element that will determine the People's Champion. The People's Champion is something that is separate and apart from the entire competition. So the voting element is not going to count towards your final points. All right. Right, I'll run through again of your prize structure. So in the youth category, your first prize is $200,000, second prize $75,000, third place will get $40,000, and fourth, fifth, and sixth, because we added both reserves in. So fourth, fifth, and sixth will receive $20,000 each. Round of applause from the youth. In the ultimate category, you have your 4th to 11th place. They will receive $50,000. Third will receive $150,000. Second will receive $30,000. And first place, the grand 300, my apologies. 300,000. And first place will walk away with the grand prize of $1 million. Each contestant will be given, in the youth category, you'll be given $10,000 up front to help to offset your performance costs. And in the ultimate category, you'll be given $30,000 up front to help offset your performance costs. All questions will be answered at the end of the proceedings. All right. Contestants must be on site and checked in at the designated call time. So you'll all be given call times based on the numbers that you pull here today. So make sure that you're there on time so that this show can flow smoothly. No unauthorized persons will be allowed backstage without proper accreditation. So if they don't have a backstage ban, we are sorry, we will not allow them backstage. Contestants must be respectful and cooperative with event staff, judges, and fellow contestants. Any damage to stage, venue, or equipment caused by a contestant's team will be the responsibility of that contestant. I just want to point in terms of respecting each other. And again, as a fellow artist, I want to let you all know, I love competition. It brings out the best in us. What I've seen on that stage for these semis blew my mind. I didn't expect you all to come so good. You did. You brought it. And it was great to see that. Round of applause for all of you all in terms of performance. However, we know that it is a competition at the end of the day. And competition, as much as it brings out the best in some people, sometimes it brings out the worst. And I want you all to know that after this competition, we all need to live together in terms of as a music industry and as a team. So we don't want the sabotaging of somebody else's props, sabotaging of somebody else's performances, that sort of thing. You come out there and you bring your A game, and the judges will judge based on your performance. There's an old saying that says, if you blow out somebody else's candle, it's not going to make yours shine brighter. So we will see that. We will have a no-nonsense policy in place in terms of anyone caught sabotaging another contestant or cheating in any manner, you will be disqualified. Okay, so just remember, look out for each other. As much as we compete, and it's friendly competition. Yeah, $1 million and 200,000 up for grabs. We know it could change somebody's entire career, but be mindful that this is a very, very small industry, and you step on somebody's toes to win the competition now. How you going to survive for the rest of your career when everybody knows what you did, right? So be mindful of that. Some additional details, technical details. Stage size. The stage size is going to be 60 feet wide by 50 feet deep. We would have 3 risers for the band, which would be 8 by 8, and we would have stage side fills. We will have a backdrop screen, which will be in place, and we will give you all the full dimensions on that by the end of the day today. If you have any special requests for your performance that you'll know we will need technical assistance for, meaning a zip line, a jetpack, as I said, a car coming on the stage, somebody coming up from the roof, somebody coming up from underneath, whatever those things need, we need advance notice. Yeah, you're saying jet and parachute, and we know what this competition brings. We want you all to bring those things. We want to help you facilitate that. However, you need to give us advance notice. By Monday, we must know these things. Any requests, special requests like that must be in writing. We would send you the contact to send to make sure, because what we don't want as well is somebody saying, but I tell Ole I want this and it ain't come. We need everything in writing. What we have learned so far in this competition, we want everything from Ole in writing. Everything. We will have security on site for your props on the day, and anyone who wants to leave their props overnight, we'll have overnight security as well for your props. The ramp is 12 feet wide, so make sure that your props could fit on the ramp. We highly suggest that if you have large, heavy props, that you put them on wheels, that they can be rolled easily on and off the ramp. If you have to lift your props, please provide your stage hands to lift your props. We will assist. Your stage to ceiling is approximately 30 feet. On Monday, we will be holding a site visit for all artists in both categories if you would like to come see the stage. The stage is down now. As we speak, it is there. However, the official site visit is going to take place on Monday. It is at the Queen's Park Savannah. If you want to pass there on your way home and you just want to glance and see what the stage looks like, it's already up and on it, right? Monday, we will give you all the details. Darren will contact you all as to the time, because we know that Panorama takes place on Sunday, so we just need to work with them as we have a shared space. Right, so your deadline for your additional, just some final reminders, your additional backstage passes and your performance submissions, your deadline is this coming Monday. That is Monday the 17th of February by 12 midnight. Make sure that we have all of your submissions. Ensure all technical and stage requirements are confirmed before you submit. All right, as well we have your contacts. I wouldn't give their numbers as we are live on CNC3, but your event coordinator is Darren Boudou. Your stage management would be Christopher Crooks. Your lighting and special effects will be Kim of Lullaby. And please don't call my phone to deal with any of these things. You have your liaisons. I know some of you personally, we are fellow artists, but unfortunately, we have assigned personnel to you guys to deal with all of these things. Please utilize them, because Rome don't know what to do when it comes to special effects, right? So use your liaisons. All right, I think now we will move on to, before we move on to our draw, we must address something as well too, because we would have had a wildcard voting, a social media wildcard voting process that needs to be addressed. What we did was that after the semi-final round, we felt as though we wanted to give 2 spots to our contestants who did not make it based on the judges' requirements to the final. Initially, we said we were going to have 5 youth and we were going to have 10 ultimate in the final. But when we saw the performances by everyone at the semi-final, they will blow mind. And we felt as though we want to give those opportunities to 2 more contestants. Every contestant that we add into the finals, just remember that's a cost to us. But we said we're going to bite the bullet and add in 2 more people. So initially, our mindset was let the fans get an opportunity to take part, because we had a huge crowd down there at Naparima Bowl for the semi-finals, and a lot of people came out to support their artists, and we know that you all had fan bases. So we gave the opportunity to the fans to vote in their person. We know that we're in 2025 and we are in the era of social media. So our idea was, let's do a social media competition to let the fans get to vote on this. So here's our statement on our wildcard voting process. The organizers of the Ultimate Soca Champion 2025 are committed to upholding the integrity, fairness, and transparency of the competition. Following an internal review of the wildcard voting process, concerns were raised regarding irregular voting activity, including potential vote buying and artificial vote inflation. To maintain the credibility of the competition, we have made the difficult but necessary decision to nullify the wildcard vote and instead proceed with the highest scoring reserve contestants from each category, in alignment with the original competition format. So as a result, GI will be moving on in the ultimate category, so give it up for GI. He was our first reserve. And in the youth category, Verse will be moving ahead, as he was our first reserve. So they will be heading to the grand finals based on their semi-final scores only. The official rules of the Ultimate Soca Champion competition grant the organizers the authority to invalidate votes, disqualify contestants, or adjust the competition format in cases of irregularities or unfair advantages. Given our findings, this decision was made to ensure all contestants have an equal and fair opportunity to compete based on their talent, performance, and merit. So now we are going to head to our live draw. So we're going to start with our youth category, and we will call the names up in alphabetical order. So there are 6 positions to be drawn, and we are calling on Christo to draw his number. Next, we have Christina James. Show it, Christina, show the audience. Right, she got number 4. And her heart is beating out her chest. Next, we have Paris Couté. Number 1. Paris opens. Next, we have Saki. Number 6. Followed by Sucre. Number 3. Next, from Tobago, let's welcome Verse. A reminder, Verse entered as our reserve. Number 2. Now we head to our ultimate category. First up, Anika Berry. So it's the line at the bottom. She has 9. Next, from Grenada, Blackadan. Which number is this? I didn't see. 4, number 4. Followed by Castle. Number 2. From Grenada, Dash. He moved quick. Number 6. Next, we have a representative from Ding Dong. Number 7. Now we have GI. Number 8. Followed by Nyla Blackman.
Let's go now.
Number 1, of course. Oh no. Can I put it back?
No. And Nyla pulls. Number 11. She just saw a 1 and she got frightened. We're followed by Orlando Octave. Number 5. Followed by Pretty. Number 10, Pretty. Next we have Snaky. Snaky pulls number 3. So the last number goes to Young Brother. He did not send a representative, so we will have to pull on his behalf. And the last number to Young Brother, he gets number 1. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, those were your positions that you drew. And I just want to send a message to all of our artists. You are privileged to be in this final. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to have you guys here to bring your talent. What we don't want, we have already put in our 2 reserves into the final. What we have seen in the semi-final was some people withdrawing from the competition 2 days before, a couple days before the competition. What we will not tolerate is that we had hundreds of people who applied to be in this competition, who came to the auditions. We had people who came into the semi-finals, and you all were given the opportunity to represent your craft, represent your music at the final stages. Any one of you who decides to withdraw from a competition without a reasonable explanation, you will not be allowed to re-enter this competition next year. Because we can't have people taking up a spot for somebody else who could have been given this opportunity, and then you wake up one morning and decide, but I'm not feeling to be in this again, you know. Because this is not a feeling. This is people's careers we are dealing with. And we also need to give people ample time to prepare. Because if you come 2-3 days before a competition and say, I withdraw, you're not going to be fair to give the reserve enough time for them to prepare themselves for the competition and compete against everybody else who would have been given over a week to prepare. Right? So, know from now, if you want to withdraw, withdraw now. If not, just know the consequences of your actions. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, your performing order for your youth category, based on what was just pulled, in position number 1, Paris Coutin. 2, we have Verse. 3, Sucre. Position number 4, Christina James. Position 5, Christo. And position 6, Saki. Let's give it up for all of our youth finalists. In your ultimate category, in position number 1, we have Young Brother. Number 2, Castle. Number 3, Snakey. 4, Blackadan. 5, Orlando Octave. 6, Dash. 7, Ding Dong. 8, GI. 9, Anika Berry. 10, Pretty. And 11, Nyla Blackman. Give it up for all of our ultimates. And for you together, let's see who's going to take home the $1 million prize and the $200,000 prize. All right, so now we open the floor for any questions that you guys may have. All right, so we have a mic that we can give to the contestants. Yeah, we have a question from Pretty. Wait on the mic, Pretty. Jaden, you can go ahead and give it to him.
Greetings, my name is Akin Chance. I'm performing in number 10. It's not more of a question, but more of a statement. One thing I found I had an issue with was the security. Now I understand you're doing a job and you are given certain guidelines, but if there's an error made, like say example, you forget to take the car passes, and swapping car passes, so the car park full. I think you have to consider also that you are not in competition. There's no pressure on you. You have been paid to be here. So the way you speak to me on the night could affect my mood. So shouting at me and telling me, shut up, you had to talk and them kind of thing. Competition done, brother. Right? So I think the staff who is from Soca Champion, and that isn't a small area, but I think it has to be highlighted because I think they don't take into consideration how much pressure is on our backs on the day. So I think that will be able to prevent some kind of clashes with, information and these kind of things. So it's more of a statement. Security, that's all. Just be cool on the night, please. Yeah, man.
All right. And also feel free to give us suggestions that you all would have seen that you all want implemented on the night. It is the first time we're doing the competition in this format. We are not perfect, but we are going to take feedback from you guys. And as much as we can implement, we will implement to make sure that you are comfortable.
Hi, good evening. Jojo representing Saki. The first thing for me was kind of a statement as well, similar to Pretty. There were some technical issues on the night of the semi-finals, so much so it caused a delay in the run. Would there be any guarantees that, issues like that would not occur come finals night? And secondly, when would the allocation for the presentation be distributed?
All right, so two-part question. Your first part of your question is, I think you all who were there at the semi-finals would have seen the way I would have handled the technical difficulties. I don't think that anyone could say that we didn't take that into consideration. As much as people are human, me being part of the competitions in the past, I know what it feels like to face technical difficulty, because I faced technical difficulties in my finals performance in the previous competition, and I felt it threw off my whole mojo in terms of as a performer. So I knew that. And you would have seen in the semi-finals, every time we had an issue with a technical difficulty, we stopped. And we allowed that artist to start over their performance, and we made sure that we corrected it. Because in this competition, we're going to make sure that any issues that we have, we take responsibility for that. I took personal responsibility for that because it was our team. And we corrected them, and this is why we're putting further steps in place, because a lot of the issues that we faced on the night of the semis weren't only our fault. It was that some artists bring their thing last minute. We had artists who walk with a flash drive with a video that they want to run right before they go on stage. And this is a culture that we have to break. That is why now we are giving you all a deadline of Monday. Organize yourself, make sure you have your video in place, make sure you have your technicalities in place in terms of your lighting cues. So now we could give our tech team enough time to program all of these things and then do a tech rehearsal on Wednesday, that making sure that all those things in place. And on top of that, we letting you send a representative to stand with the tech team to ensure that all of those things in place. And still, Jojo, we can even fully guarantee that you wouldn't have any issues at all, because one is human nature and then Murphy's Law. Sometimes some things just go wrong that you never would have even planned for. But what I could tell you though and guarantee is that we are putting every single possible step that we could think of at this moment to try and mitigate all of those issues moving forward. So that's the best I could give you. Thank you. Well, I know there's the part everybody waiting on. When will they get any money? Oh, look, we have another question here from Anson.
Hi, manager of Nyla. Question, I know the results, this is being aired a week later. Would the results be announced on the night?
Right, so first I'm going to answer the money question, because I know they're waiting on that. So we are trying to disperse those funds by at least on Monday, Jojo, so that you all can get that money before the competition starts. Blacker than, I wish I had this money sitting in my bank account to just go and distribute to you. However, we have support from the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and they have guaranteed us that we will get the money in time for the competition. So I'm giving them time to distribute the funds, and by Monday, we're hoping to distribute the funds to everyone. In terms of the organization, we're going to make sure that you all have the money before the competition starts, so that you could alleviate any issues you will have financially with your performance. But let me answer. Answer, your question was the results. The results. Yeah. Right. So as you all have seen, this is a different format from any other competition. We did not announce the results one time for the auditions. We didn't announce it the same time for the semi-finals, and we're not going to do the same thing for the finals as well. So what is going to happen is it is TV. And I hear in Bakadan saying madness, but there are no madness involved in this. Is going to be an audited process. So the process of the results is that you're going to have 4 judges again. And your 4 judges will all have their own individual score sheets. You're going to have an auditor from a reputable financial company who does these things all the time. They're going to audit all of the judges' scores. They're going to keep these audited results confidential. We would not even know, the organizers. The auditors will have the results alone. They will only reveal the results to us when we are ready to air the show. What we are going to do is television. So we are going to simulate in terms of this is first place, this is second place, this is third place, but we're not going to say the names. We will edit that so that when it airs on Carnival Friday night and we announce the winners, we could get that reaction. This is TV world. As you all saw in the semi-finals, what we did is that you have to produce this. And the only way we could have change is if we try some of these things. We don't want to go back with the exact same thing that was done before. We're trying something new this time. He said if we're considering his sleep. Yeah, in terms, what? what we want as well, Blacker Dan, another reason why we would not want to reveal the final results on the night is that we want people to look at the show on Carnival Friday night and tune in to see who won. We're thinking if we give out the results on a Thursday, nobody have any incentive to view the show on a Friday night. And we want them to see all performances with the nice camera angles, see where we cut out any glitches, and we edit the thing and we package it properly. Because in the past, the competitions before, it wasn't, I'm not bashing anybody, however, we're trying to improve on the TV product of things. Sometimes you get a technical difficulty, like what we got in the semifinals. Sometimes that might last 20 minutes for us to sort it out. For a TV viewing audience, that's difficult to stomach. We are watching a TV show, watching performances, and then I have 20 minutes worth of advertisement I had to watch through for this thing to start back. So as a result of that, we decided, you know what, we're going to pre-record this and air it on Carnival Friday night, and we actually announce the results on the Friday. So you're going to have to take a little sleep aid.
Wrong question. You don't think that will kill some of the excitement on the night? Like all
No.
the people are coming out, that's part of the reason that people come out. They want to know, well, who win at the end, right?
Right, so I know that's a consideration. He's asking if it will kill the excitement of the crowd. What we saw in the semis is it didn't kill the excitement of the crowd. I think what we saw in the semis, which was a testing ground for the final, was that the crowd coming out to support their favorite artists and see great performances. I know the crowd will want to hear the results of the night, but that's because they are accustomed hearing the results on the night. I personally went to America's Got Talent, and they did their entire finale show, and they did not announce the results on the night. They had a completely different show a couple of days later where they recorded the final performances of everyone, and then they announced the results on a separate night. So don't think I just come up with this crazy idea. It's being done internationally, and we're just duplicating that
You
format.
don't think like the crowd will, if they're coming out for their supporters, they're just gonna leave after their supporters? Because there's no reason to stay back if they have no results at the end.
Right, so in terms of would the crowd leave after their favorite artist perform, we didn't see that happen as well in the
Oh,
semifinals.
they definitely did.
We saw some people, as the night go on, we saw the crowd fluctuated. It started off with a few people, then the numbers grew, and then as it got later in the night, I mean, it was a Sunday evening as well, we saw some of the numbers dip off. So you're going to get that regardless. But however, what we're going to do is that we have some big guest artists who will also be on the night, and we will put the guest artists later on in the night to make sure that the crowd stays to see their favorite guest artists as well, so they wouldn't leave during the performances. And I don't think on the finals night people go down and pack up and leave. People want, and we also have a party element that you all saw in the semi-final where people get in to bring their coolers and they waving their flags, and people were enjoying themselves. So I do think that people want to leave the finals before the final performer. And I think the final performer of the night, we have Nyla Blackman. So I think people, Nyla, you think your crowd waiting to see her? I think they're waiting to see Nyla Blackman in the position number 11.
Afternoon, I'm Giselle. I'm management for Blackadan. 2 questions. I didn't hear anything about dressing rooms for the artists. So is it that the artists going to have their personal dressing room, and if they have dancers, their separate tent? And 2, you should revise the time. We didn't discuss the time, and that the use was given for, and if you all could revisit.
Right, so we're
that.
going to talk about that now. So in terms of the tents, so we have the tents. Every artist will have their own tent. In terms of giving 2 tents per artist, no, we don't have that real estate in terms of how our setup is. So we will speak to, Adrian is not here, he did the layout, so I'll speak to him on that in terms of our concern. But as of we have it now, each artist will be given their own tent. But I don't think, let me answer that for him one time. We don't have enough space, Giselle, to give 2 tents per artist, because remember it's 11 plus 5, that is 11 plus 6. So that's 17 tents, plus you have to give the judges, plus you have to give the hosts, and then you have the props area. So the backstage already is going to be a large area. I mean, in the previous competitions I was in, we used to have to share the same tent with our dancers as well too. Yeah. The other question was? The time, right. So the time, we could discuss that now. So the 2 options we have for time, and the reason why we were cutting down on the time is that we saw you guys perform in the semi-final. And we saw that you utilize the reduction any time that we give. Usually people get a lot longer time to perform. So is it that you all want, we were initially thinking 4 minutes for the youth, 5 minutes for the ultimate. We will go up another minute. Do you all want 5 minutes for the youth and 6 minutes? No, we can't pass 5. So we have 5 for the youth. You all prefer 5 than 4 minutes? We need to wait, cool. Let the youth and them vote for their own thing. Do you all? We'll take a vote. We have all who vote for 5 minutes over 4 minutes. All right. Well, then it's unanimous. So they will get their 5. On you guys' end, you have currently 5 minutes. Or we could increase it. Maximum you could get is 7 minutes for performance. You want to go with 6? All right. So wait, let me take a vote first. All who vote for 5 minutes. Nobody vote for 5. All who vote for 6 minutes. Yeah, somebody could check 6 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, then 6 minutes of it. Yeah. So we will go with based on. Based on 7 minutes, let me see the votes, so 7 minutes. All right, well, 7 only outnumbered. So we found a middle ground. We had between 5 minutes or 7 minutes, and the majority of artists went with 6 minutes. So I think we could all agree on 6 minutes. All right? Right, 7 minutes was the upper, 5 was the lower, and we went with 6. Nyla, you have a question? All right, go ahead. Give it Myla a mic.
So I highly disagree with letting some contestants choose if 6 or 7 minutes is enough time for us on stage, because some people have different styles. It's like if you put a cheetah, a monkey, and I don't know, a giraffe in a race, who's going to win? Who is the monkey? Who is the cheetah? Who is the giraffe? You understand? You have to think about people's performance styles. In crowd interaction, you get judged on that, right? If there's no time to interact with your crowd, how can you do that? That takes time, it takes finesse. It also takes experience. And some people could do it in less time than others, but I do think that when you're putting on a production, a stage show, theatrics also takes time, which is also something we're being judged on as well. So I believe that if 7 is the max we could get, 7 is what we should get.
Well, it is, Nyla has said her piece. It goes to you all because, again, we're involving you guys. Those who voted for 6, are you convinced by Nyla to change your mind on the 6? So we will do the vote again. It is, we definitely 5 is out the competition right now because you all wanted more. So we go ahead, let Anika say her piece.
You extend it to 7. Those who want to use 6 of the 7, use your 6, use your 5, but just give us the 7 as maximum. That makes sense. Because not everybody might want to use the 7, that's fine, but we have it just in case, whoever needs it.
So what she's saying is, if you only need 6, use your 6, because we're not going to penalize you if you go beyond.
Great.
And if you want to use 7, you use your 7. Are you all agree? All right, so let's just get that again, consensus. All who agree to 7 minutes for your performance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so 6. All right, so it was a vote, and we're going with 7 minutes as the performance time. So the youth, you have 5, and the ultimate, you have 7 minutes. All right, question in the front here. Just, you would have to state who you're representing, no? All right, check her mic, please.
Hi, good afternoon. I am representing Paris Couture.
All right.
What we wanted to find out, would you all be having guest artists at the start of the show to waiting the build-up of the crowd? Because if someone is going first, a lot of people would miss out on their performances.
Right. So we will be having guest artists both before and after the show. So make sure that your crowd is entertained before and after. We also have DJs that will be playing before, during, and after.
Valid
the show.
question, mommy. But and I have one more question. Is it possible, like, if you don't want a mic and you want a pin-up mic instead, would that be?
Yes, so if we, in terms, because we had another request from an artist who wanted a headset mic versus the actual mic. Now, this is going to be an additional cost, and that will be borne by you guys.
And I just have one more too. On Nyla's side, right, in terms of the timing, but you see, if you give us like 6, even though everybody go with 5, they don't have to use all that time. But personally, you know what I mean? Yeah, and if you know, if I get 6 humbly, respectfully, all that stuff, you know.
All right. So the reason why we can't go beyond the 5 and the 7 is because, again, for the TV production side of things, we had to stay within a certain time frame. So that is why, from the producers, I was given, okay, this is the max that we could do, because part of the packaging of the TV show, as you all would have seen from the first set of episodes, is that it's not only going to be a performance. It's going to have your interviews, part of your backstory, all of that, which we need to fit into the TV side of things. So you just have to kind of remember that it's not only the live show, it's also televised. And this show is televised here on CNC3, and it's televised throughout the Caribbean and internationally as well. So we want to make sure that all they look good, but you have to give you time to build your story and get the fans engaged and get them to love you guys too. So we need time for that as well. All right?
All right.
Hi, Christina here. How many days are we getting for band rehearsal?
Joe, you have 2. You have two band rehearsals. Yeah, you have, just like the semis, you have 2 band rehearsals before the final. And I think band rehearsals, Darren, starts today or tomorrow? Tomorrow. So band rehearsals start tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, we have another one here.
You sure like an extra band rehearsal might be needed because of
So
extra
you could speak with the band if you're not feeling comfortable with your rehearsal, and they would either extend the length of your rehearsal or they will schedule another rehearsal. But that's going to be between you and the band. According to us, the arrangement we have with the band is that we have 2 rehearsals set for each round.
Hi, greetings. Pretty again. Will the technical rehearsal on the dress rehearsal have the band? Will be with the band also?
So what we're going to do is the tech rehearsal. It will be part of your song check with the band on the Wednesday, so that you could be there, you could test out the mic, you could test out the song, and have the tech rehearsal taking place at the same time.
Okay, so it's really like 3 sessions you will probably have with the band in entirety also. Because I was asking if they will be there for the technical rehearsal also.
The band will be there for the technical rehearsal.
Okay.
Yeah, Blackadan here. My concern is with the amount of persons allowed for production, because what if you're rotating people in and out of the stage? So like you have one set and then you rotate them out, like it's not just dancers. So I feel like the rotation of different people and this one set of bands are not going over that, when everybody production going to be different and it might card it for different set of people, because you could rotate people for different thing, like especially for a full production hour. You ain't going to use the same people to make that, you understand? So that is.
So what we could do in that case, Blackadan, is we will have to do it on a case-by-case basis, because we also, doing this competition, what we have learned is that you give people an inch, they take a yard. If we tell you all in the semis, we were giving you all 10 people, we saw how many more people brought. So we have to manage this, because the backstage is limited in terms of space, and you don't want to overcrowd it. We had people there who were bringing friends and family members and the ex-girl and all kind of madness in the back there, and it caused an issue.
No pun intended.
So we had to make sure that we manage this thing properly as well, because it poses an issue for us. The amount of people backstage for security to manage, for our staff to manage. We need to take you all into interviews. They have cross-contamination with people. So the more people is the more difficult it is. So we had to put a limit. So our limit was, we're giving you all 20 passes. Anything more than that, you have $50 a pass, which we think is very reasonable. If you want to add more passes, up to 10. Anything after 10, you need to send us a reason of why you need these things. Now, again, we want a spectacular show.
Yeah,
so if we realize, okay, you're presenting a valid reason of why you need all of these people because you have a heavy prop and you need hands to help, or you're bringing a choir to perform and the choir alone is 30 people, we will take into consideration that. But we must put a limit and we must have a case-by-case basis to analyze these things.
Yeah, so basically, you have to present a proper case to you.
Yeah, you have to present your case to us.
I just want a T-shirt that says Ultimate Soca Champion.
Okay, we can arrange that for Anika Berry.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. We'll be selling merch on his site, so you can buy. Yeah. We do like the fact that you all want to support the brand, so I'm going to speak with the management team to see if we can get T-shirts so you all can represent us. All right. Yeah. I think it's a good memorabilia. I think in case you do come first, you can at least say you have a jersey.
Yo, I really think we should give the organizers a round of applause for the thing. We definitely appreciate all they putting it on. This ain't counting for points only, so all you rather talk. Shut up. I know you was gonna say that. Shut up. It's not counting for points, but no, shut up now, gosh. Shut up now. Ding dong not even here. What are you talking? Ding dong is the funny man. Okay, see why I didn't want to say that thing? See how really and truly. Oh, cool it. I need it. I really need $1 million this year. I need it. No, I really feel nostalgic. If we definitely feel nostalgic, the competition coming back. And I think beyond just who wants to win, I also, as a competitor, I'm very proud to be among a cast of so many prolific competitors also. So, yeah, man, big up yourself.
All right, that's it, guys? All right. We don't have any more time. We're out of time in terms of the live feed. We'll take the question after, but let me just wrap the live feed. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all the viewers at home on CNC3 that are listening, that are looking at us right now. Thank you all very much for joining us. To all our artists, give it up for yourselves as we head into the final round of the Ultimate Soca Champion.
You're watching CNC3. As an affiliate of Al Jazeera, we now join their current program.
NATO allies in Europe say they're afraid the U.S. may withdraw support for Ukraine and push for a peace deal that may increase Russia's influence across the continent. Defense ministers from the bloc are meeting in the Belgian capital on Thursday to talk Ukraine and the future of the alliance more broadly. But it's happening in the shadow of a phone call between the U.S. and Russian presidents that's threatened to upend 3 years of American policy on Ukraine. Hashim Al-Bara reports from Brussels.
Good morning. This was not the outcome Europe and Canada were hoping for. They had wanted to convince the Trump administration to supply more cash and weapons so that when Kyiv went to peace talks with Moscow, Ukraine would have the advantage. But U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth came to NATO with a clear message. The U.S. wants a deal now, but won't commit troops to Ukraine and doesn't want a confrontation with Russia.
I had the chance to brief allies on President Trump's top priority: a diplomatic, peaceful end to this war.